Thank you for that.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Garvey. Present. Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman McCain.
Present.
Councilman Green.
Present.
Mayor Syke.
Present. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum for Monday, April 24th, 2023. Run down to department head comments. We have a few tonight. Councilman Brennan.
Real quick, before we start, can I make a motion to change the order of the agenda? Oh, sorry. If you'll allow it, yeah.
Yeah.
Make a motion to have a resignation from city council before we appoint a new city council member, so that we don't have 5 currently sitting.
Oh, copy that.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
All right. Run down to department head comments and reports. Jake, what do you got?
I don't really have anything. We verified the drains 2 weeks ago, and weather's what it is, so golf course is slowly coming around, but we just do our day-to-day maintenance and seasonal fire and stuff like that. So.
Copy that. Shasta.
This week is actually National Library Week, and we have lots of programs to celebrate this week. On, Tuesday we're partnering with the Mountain Home Arts Council for a writing instructor free workshop. On Thursday we're having, and Tuesday actually, we're having our virtual reality coding and design program brought to you by a grant that we received from St. Luke's, as well as help from BSU and local businessman Mike Durant. So that's going to start up this week on Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30, I believe. We're also celebrating El Dia de los Niños, which is Day of the Child. It's a annual celebration that emphasizes the importance of literacy for children of all linguistic and cultural backgrounds. And we're going to have STEM activities, we're going to have dancers. It'll be a fun time. So that's on Friday, April 28th after school. Saturday we're having our teen after hours activity, and we're hosting a Stranger Things D&D one-shot lead. We'll have pizza for all the participants. It is registration required, so please register online. We also have our youth council meeting next Monday, and then family history as well, meeting next week on Wednesday evening. But please note that there is no youth program the first week in May, and that is because Bianca and Jessica are going to be visiting all of the elementary schools and middle schools to talk up the summer reading program, because we don't want the summer slide to happen. We want kids reading during the summer so that they're ready to go when school starts again. That's it.
Fantastic. Shasta. Sorry, Betsy.
Sorry, you threw me off. You went this way. So just a few things. A few weeks ago, the mayor signed a proclamation for Denim Day. So Elmore County Domestic Violence Council heads up Denim Day. April is the National Awareness Month for Domestic Violence. But April 26th, they ask everyone to wear denim in the fight against domestic violence. We also have the Mountain Bound groundbreaking on May 13th, and I did email that to you guys last week. I'll make sure to forward it on to other council members accordingly. But that is May 13th at 3 p.m. This week, we do have food distribution on April 26th, so Wednesday, out at Optimist Park. If you guys have never seen the food distribution, I highly recommend coming out. If you have time to volunteer, throw some boxes. It's a good time, lots of apples going in people's cars, but we feed lots of people. The Idaho Food Bank brings a whole semi truck down full of food, and it's just a pretty amazing feat to see how many cars get filled and how many families get help with that. So again, that's Wednesday, 12:30 at Optimist, and then I am excited to announce that the URA new website is finally up and live. The Urban Renewal Agency paid Rising Creative to do a new website for them, and I'm excited that that finally went live on Friday, went through all the glitches over the weekend, and now we're fully smooth up and running. So uramountainhome.com has a new look to it, so. Yeah.
Daniel, got some?
No, sir.
Hey.
Busy timesheets, lots of moves, people moving positions, new hires, seasonals are starting to ramp up, so.
Copy that. Doris?
So the recreation department, we're hosting a couple big events coming up. Arbor Day is this Friday. We're doing the 4th grade field day next Friday. And Thursday is May the 4th be with you. So everybody dress up and come to Parks and Rec and you can pick out a cool prize. But you gotta be really like maybe Darth Vader. I don't know who your favorites are. But yeah, make sure you're the top character for sure. At Arbor Day, we are doing a new little city nature challenge. It's a 3-day event, and we're basically celebrating biodiversity in our town. So you download an app, it's iNaturalist. You can go on our website or Facebook page to get all the information on how to do it. But we're gonna, I don't know, it's a worldwide challenge, and which all the data collected will go into this app, and you guys can see how many different species are in your little town here. So I would encourage you all to come to Arbor Day and check this out and join the challenge. Okay, that's all I got.
Nothing else?
This will be my last city council meeting for the city of Mountain Home. I've chosen to go a different direction, and my last day for the city is May 5th. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McKee.
Where you going?
I'm going home.
Oh, you are?
I've been offered a job for the Glen Ferry School District as the district clerk there.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're gonna miss you.
More than they're gonna miss me, so that's, good.
Leo?
Just our routine spring startup stuff, firing up water, the guys are mowing, a lot of spring cleaning, planting trees. We're getting some parking lots sprayed, grass will be spraying grass here shortly, I'm thinking. Probably the most exciting thing is we finally filled our cemetery position, so we hired Saul Garcia, and we'll be training him up here the next few weeks, so I think he'll be good there.
You tell him it was a dead-end job.
You're killing me.
I've been doing here for a while.
Paul's back.
Gene?
That was good, it was hard to follow that. We are in our standard springtime stuff right now. Sweepers running, potholes getting filled, patchwork, and then working on some projects. So we just pulled off our last sander today off one of the last 10-wheelers, and we've got a couple in little pickups just in case, because Mother Nature's just kind of out of hand right now, but outside that, we're just normal stuff.
Dave back there? Dave?
I'm here. I will be starting the water line for out of the airport next week. Get that started up and going another 800 feet extended out for the and they'll be starting the water line for the new well the week after that. It's run so that'll run sometime till December. And thanks to the Gale, we'll start opening up some more wells so you have some water.
Don?
Well, this last week we got Turner House completely inspected and they're all good to go. And on the 2nd of May, we're going to be starting on Runway Estates. Getting the inspections all done with that, so they'll be good to go too.
Good. You get the farm?
And the farm, we've been doing a little watering with the deep well. He hasn't, because of the weather, it's been unstable, started using any of the wastewater. We've got about 293 million gallons of water, so we can water pretty much all summer on with that.
Perfect. Ty?
All our first line supervisors have completed their annual ICRIM supervisor training. Chief Thompson, he's attending right now the executive leadership with ICRIM. Officer Allen, he'll be finishing up his motor school this Friday. So so that will give us some extra bodies on the road this summer for traffic enforcement. This last Saturday, we with Brista did our Coffee with Cop, which was a good turnout. Also did a drug take back, annual program throughout the United States. Took back about 13 pounds of used prescriptions. We have 1 patrol officer and 2 animal shelter candidates and backgrounds. On our next testing date, we're looking at the beginning of June.
Hank?
We're at 31 permits issued for new homes. Right now, 17 at this time last year. We have received the permit application for ICCU, so that's going to happen on Rodetta or Sedgway. And code enforcement's ongoing.
Brock?
Well, Hank took the ICCU thing. But right now at Mountain Home, I think we're seeing a lot of positive commercial development. It's very exciting. You can see Mountain Bound moving dirt. The new Marriott is getting ready to hold their permit after everything we've been able to do for them. You have Barista. You have Tidal Wave Car Wash. It's an exciting time to be in Mountain Home. Good momentum. Residential's picking up. As far as master transportation plan, we are doing the walkability training and study this Thursday and Friday. If anyone has any questions about that, ask me. I know Councilman Green wants to go. If you want to show up even just for a little bit, you are able to. You don't have to go to the entire thing. That's going to be really cool. And then myself, Paula, and Richard Urquidy, we have met with all of the pertinent parties as far as impact fees and all of that jazz. And we've been able to put together a memo. And our next step will be to meet with the Impact Fee Advisory Board, go over impact fees, what's in our CIP, what is our current growth rate, and then they will forward their recommendation to P&Z, and then ultimately you will receive it. I did notice that in our new revamped zoning ordinance, that it says that for our impact fees, it says that at least 2 of our membership has to be individuals not affiliated with development. And we did a really good job of making sure everyone was affiliated with development. So we're probably going to need to add 2 more members. So don't be surprised if you guys see some recommendations in one of your future city council meetings of people that can fill those vacancies, so that we can make sure that our impact fees are up to date and equitable.
Copy that. Chief?
Mayor, Council, the fire department is super busy with their training both internally and externally. We're crossing into our BLM time of year, brush fire season as we call it. So we're getting that trained under our belt, kind of our annual refresher stuff and a lot of these things. We have a lot of school activities that we're going to be doing with different things. We've been requested to show up and do fire trucks and make the little kids happy, so that's always fun. I have the Idaho Chiefs Conference that I'll be attending May 18th through 20th. So that's a good thing. The last thing I'd like to thank the Mayor and Council for the opportunity that you've given us in moving into the old sequel modulars and being able to train up there. That's exciting for us. That's almost like an underwriter laboratory for us to go up there and be able to work and train and hone our skills and develop skills and that sort of stuff. So that's also an opportunity for you guys if you ever get an opportunity on a good training night, like give you guys a heads up, you're able to go up there and watch us do some different evolutions. I've talked with base fire leadership out there. They're excited to come and join in that thing with us too, as well as the police department stuff. So we will get a ton of use out of those buildings before we get rid of them this next year. Thank you.
Rich?
Mayor, Council, a couple things. Dave kind of touched on the well piece. So May 10th is when when Mountain Company's going to try to mobilize to get things started over there, kind of by the junior high on 6th and 14th. So we're going to get that kind of finalized. We're waiting for our final okay from the DOD for our grant to do that. So that's kind of where we are. We'll get something on. We had a meeting today to kind of get things moving, how they're going to proceed with that. So Mountain Company's putting together a flyer that they'll put out on door knockers on everybody on 14th and all the area that's kind of being affected with what's going on. We'll get something, and once I get that, we'll get it on our Facebook page too, kind of what's happening, so everybody's really going. So they're going to try to do, they want to get both, they want to do kind of 2 things at once. They're going to start that side. They're also going to start prepping over on 10th be ready to go under the railroad tracks with the bore under there. So kind of, going to be working a couple spots at the same time to try to get everything done so they can be able to pave out before school starts. That's kind of the goal. They want to be able to do that. So it's kind of one of those things. It was either when I talked to the school district, I said, well, we either kind of close that for the last couple weeks of school, or we close it at the end of school, or when school starts. So we figure we're going to get it going now. That's probably the best thing. So also just a reminder that the airport's having that fly-in May 13th in the morning. So just kind of want to put that out there. I know I saw on Facebook too. So that should be a pretty good thing happening. Probably going to. We had a meeting. They got all the results from the last pump test that we did with the sand, how much water. So probably going to see a change order come in. We're going to go ahead and a lot of the good water was down was in the lower strata. From what we plugged that off on the lower strata to kind of test the two different stratas. So we're going to probably go ahead and drill back down through that, try to go as deep as we can, because that seems like that's where a lot of they'll get some more water, be able to get more water out of it than we're thinking. So it's kind of where we are. So
Tiff.
Mayor, Council, I gave each of you the insert that Councilman Brennan brought up at the last meeting. This will go in the utility bill for May, so residentials will see it. We budget to have inserts put in the utility bills already. It's no additional postage, so it didn't need your guys' final approval in that expense. So that went through. We sent that over. Also, the farmers market will be starting May 6th. Mrs. Franks and Mrs. Belusha called today. They have pulled their permitting. They just wanted y'all to be informed. They have reserved the park. They pulled their permitting for state events through the State Tax Commission, and they have coordinated everything through the local health department on the food handling side of stuff. So in case you guys were out and about, they wanted to make sure you guys were informed on that. And then lastly, I've been accepted to the Leadership Academy through AIC. There's a small group of leaderships within Idaho. You had to apply and be accepted, and I was lucky enough to be accepted. So I'll be in 2-day training next week, the 10th and the 11th, with my partners. And it's about a 1.5 year long process through the State House, sitting in on some policy review stuff and how it affects the little guys at the bottom of the chain. So I'm kind of excited,
Cool.
but super nervous. So more to come.
Good. That's all I have. Mayor and Council, Alexa replaced Jamie as our grant writer, and she hit the ground running. She's doing a fabulous job. We got really big grants this year, and she's doing a great job managing them. So shout out to Alexa. We sat through a demo this morning about the switching our credit card carrier to get a little more updated into 2023. Have an app on your phone. Phone tree if you wanted just to make a payment. So we have one more demo tomorrow, just so that this will be the third one, just so we can make a good selection, and then it takes about 60 days. So you guys we'll get you an update on that. And then the department heads are working through their budget. They're super excited. They're hitting every deadline. Nope, crickets. So we'll be bringing that back to you guys. Well, I think we generally have our hearings in July, but it'll be the same process as the last few times.
And then the payment system is like Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, whatever kind of payment system. That's what we're trying to figure out, how to get into 21st century. with
And
that.
we're shopping the rates just to make sure that we're getting the fair rate, the utility rate. So, yeah.
All right, Councilor Brennan.
Can I see that real quick?
Yeah.
Thanks, sorry. Set me up. I'd like to just say that County Commissioner Corbus kind of gave a shout out during a tour here recently to the city for our cooperation and really our help in boring underneath Mashburn Road a couple years ago for the water recharge stuff. In our tour out there, we were able to see for the first time since that's been done, the excess amount of water has been flowing and filling up those pits. I think they've recently had to shut it off and divert it back into the reservoir now that the canals are open, but we had a ton of water going into all 4 or 5, however many pits there are out there, and just put incredible water in there. So hopefully those that are on wells and our own wells, we can see a real difference on those. The flyer that Tiffany mentioned, for everybody else, it's a flyer that's going to be in your water bill. It's got a QR code on it for a survey that the county commissioners are, I guess, hosting, I would say. And I think it's important for everybody to take the time to knock that out. It's 3 to 5 minutes of your time, and it's really just for us to be good partners in helping move the water future of Mountain Home forward. So please participate in that when you see that in your water bill.
I also had Betsy put it on our website. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that earlier. So it's on the City Mountain Home webpage as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, council, anything? Hearing none, we'll go down to conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on this city council agenda? If so, please set forth the nature of said contact.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I received an email this afternoon. Had 2 items on it. One of them is kind of too little too late, but I'll mention it, which was the a new time for city council meetings. They felt that the new Tuesdays and time is going to conflict with a lot of other meetings within the city. And the second one was for the appointment of a new council member today. But I will continue to remain unbiased by that email.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
we all received it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing changes.
Oh, was he not? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, then I will run down to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda you guys want to pull, discuss, talk about?
Yeah.
Councilmember Brennan?
We got one item here. It's a question for between Brock and legal here. Just the verbiage on item D. Page 6, the decision and recommendation, paragraph 4. I don't know how I'm interpreting this the right way or the wrong way, I guess, but Paul, it starts to say all future development shall be based on the City of Mountain Home's ability and availability of municipal water for the proposed development. All future development, is that above and beyond what we're approving today, or is that including what we're approving if we approve today?
I could see the equivocal nature of the word, but it should be applying only to this application.
Okay.
That the development pursuant to this application is subject to, I mean, that's the motion, the kind of standard inclusion that you do in almost every one of these, is that it's dependent, the issuance of building permits, et cetera, is dependent upon availability of services. That's what that is supposed to mean.
Yep, it pertains to the action which is in question.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be a broad statement, but a condition specifically to that request.
Can we clarify that through interlineation so there's not the cloudiness of it, I suppose? That what would be your recommendation for verbiage?
Just take out the word future.
Okay.
That all development subject to this application shall be based upon.
Do you have to pull it, or can we do it in this format? I totally
No,
drawn
it's just a
blank.
brief.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it's a de minimis change.
If the council approve, then I would approve this through interlineation to say all development
Subject to this application.
subject to this application would be the verbiage.
Second.
All good with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, any other ones? So many, just A through F.
Yeah.
No, it's an easy one today.
All right, other than item D, through interlineation change, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I'll
Brennan.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed with the one exception of changed item D through interlineation as discussed.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Run down to new business, items removed. There were none. Run down to 2, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts and conditions for Annex annexation in Zone C4 heavy commercial located at Air Base Road. Staff report provided via email April 12th, 2023. Council, what do you guys want to do? Go ahead, Rich.
Mayor, Council, just a quick thing on the findings of facts. It says that it's for both parcels. It's just going to be for the front parcel. So that's all that she wants to bring at this time, is just the front parcel.
Okay.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Okay, so, well, I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right one here. Never mind. I apologize. I'm on the wrong one.
Okay.
I wrote some notes down.
Yeah. Councilman Brennan?
Brock, if you could help me with this one. Page 2, paragraph 14A, the language just says, the applicant does not, comma, despite being annexed. I think we're missing something there. I want to make sure we're on this. I understand.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah. Insert.
Does not wish to proceed, does not object.
Does not object was probably what was supposed to be there. I apologize for the error.
You don't have it. Can I scan that down to you?
Yeah.
Show you that. I redlined it like I always do. 14A.
It's like, I just do not.
It says a member of the public expressed concerns regarding the annexation during the public hearing, noting the following: the applicant does not. What was being expressed here was we had a member of the public during the public hearing process, during the planning and zoning meeting, say that the applicant did not want to be annexed. Whereas staff responded that before any annexation application can be completed, we need an affidavit of legal interest, which clearly states that the applicant does want to be annexed, and we have that document now. So that's what it was pertaining to.
Okay. So really we'll just say the applicant does not object.
The applicant
Or
does,
being annexed.
Yes.
Take out despite. Okay.
spell check didn't pick up that one. I apologize.
It's spelled correctly.
It's gotta be a word to be.
Yeah, it's spelled correctly.
And also, Rich, you made a comment that this is only for the front parcel. How many total? Two?
There was two parcels.
Two parcels.
So the front one's a little bit less than an acre, and the back one's a little bit more than an acre.
Okay. Will the rear one stay on their own private well and drainage system, or are they gonna be on?
There's nothing on there, I think, that's hooked up to anything.
That whole acre plus has no water or wastewater on it?
Right.
To answer your question, if the rear one is not annexed, it cannot receive city services.
I just wanna make sure.
And that's understood by the applicant as well.
Okay.
Actually, I believe that the applicant has, because the parcel's large, it has an older home, I think the applicant has some interest in bringing that up to snuff, making it livable, but she doesn't want the entire thing to be annexed, so I think she may even be splitting that in the county, and you may receive a future annexation application if she wants that existing home on that southern piece to receive city services.
We're not drawing a line down the middle of one lot.
No.
Between two
No,
lots.
right now there are two existing parcels.
Okay.
All right, council, what do you guys want? Wrong button. What do you guys want to do?
Mayor, I will make a motion to approve the deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation for the annexation on this C4 heavy commercial lot located on Airbase Road.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
All right. Run down to new business action item number 3, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts.
I don't mean to interject, but would the maker of that last motion mind amending her motion to be not only the annexation, but also setting the initial zone as C4? C4?
I think she
I
did.
did say that.
She did? Yeah.
It's okay. It's
We
all
need
right.
to get you some hearing aids too now?
Why is this?
Like, I tried to read the whole thing. Hopefully I did.
She did.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna hit you all with my cane.
It's all right, Paul. You're forgiven for now.
I'm losing it.
Run down to action item number 3. Sorry. deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning's Commission recommendation, Planning and Zoning's Commission's recommendation, finding facts, conditions for conditional use permit to allow RV park. Staff report provided April 12th, 2023. Council, what do you guys want to do?
There's the applicant here on this one. Can I ask a few questions?
Oh, it's okay, sorry.
I gotta make sure I have the right paperwork in front of me, sorry, just a sec. What's your name?
Hunter Christensen.
Hunter, sorry, thank you. I came into this not having this report here, so I wasn't exactly sure which triangular piece of ground or how much of the triangle over there behind the auto ranch we were talking about. So I'm just now getting an opportunity to look through this. There's a pretty big clubhouse associated with this.
Yes, there is.
And
Brian.
You guys aren't in any kind of partnership or anything with the development across the interstate?
No, we're separate from Mountain Bound.
Okay. And how many spaces are we talking here?
So right now the application is for 175 stalls.
Okay.
Can you bring it up?
I can.
Yes, please, thank you. Makes it easier.
Will this be I don't know the correct phrasage here, one and done, or is it a multi-phase project?
At the current moment, it's planned to be a one and done. Yeah, all at the same time, construction project.
And are you the owner or like the
I'm the
architect?
representative of the developer, and I am the developer.
And okay.
Can I ask a question while we wait?
Yes.
Mayor?
Oh, sorry, Councilman.
So you're the developer, or you're not the developer, excuse me.
So, to clarify, I work for the developer. I'm an employee of Bluegrass Development, who is the development group.
So I would like to ask a question. You may or may not know this answer. So what we've recently had happen in Mountain Home is we've approved a lot of large projects, and then the large projects don't come to fruition, and then they get sold. So it's moving up the prices of these properties, that because it's getting passed to developer to developer to developer, and each developer has to make their set amount of money. Do you know if that's in your guys' plans?
Thanks for the question, Councilman Garvey. So, primarily, we are an RV park operator.
Okay.
So this would be our fourth RV park that we're a fairly new company. Over the last couple of years, we've recently opened an RV park in Nampa, Idaho, one in Ontario, Oregon, and we have one under construction in Caldwell. And we have created a management company, and we intend to be the managers of these long term. We're not looking to flip the land. We want to construct the RV park and operate it.
So you'd be owner occupied, essentially?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Brock.
All good.
I just want to see the road.
And Council and Mayor, if you are interested, I do have a short presentation that kind of shows those two RV parks that I previously mentioned. If you just want to kind of see what, it would be a very similar RV park with renderings for what this clubhouse would also look like, if that interests you.
I'd love to see it.
As long as this pulls up. Great. So here's the location, in case there was any lack of clarity in where it is. Yeah, just directly behind the auto ranch right there. So as of now, you asked to the quantity of stalls. We're planning on approximately 175. It could go down based on stormwater retention requirements and things like that. We might have to lose a few stalls based on that, but this would be currently the maximum that we would fit on the site. Let's see, can you see my mouse right here? So you can kind of see we really try to make these RV parks as high quality as possible, with many amenities for the residents and guests that come in. As you can see, we've got 2 large green spaces for dog parks, about a 4,000 square foot clubhouse that'll be right at the entrance, pickleball courts, and then large amenity area for amenities yet to be decided. You can kind of see what these will look like. Here are 2 existing RV parks aerial views. As you can see, we pave basically the entire site, and then we have so asphalt, and then these are turf to maintain the cleanliness and greenness of the park year round, and then some other quality looking landscape around the area. This is the clubhouse at our first RV park in Nampa. Like we said, we really try to provide a luxury experience for these people. We really believe in helping with people who helping with the housing crisis in a lot of these areas, as well as provide people nice areas to come to whenever they come to the cities that we have placed these RV parks, so that they can continue to come and be guests to the communities that we build in. Here's the second RV park. We provide laundry facilities, private bathrooms, everything that you would expect in a RV park clubhouse. This is the current renderings for the Mountain Home. Clubhouse would be our largest clubhouse of the three that I've shown you. Here is the floor plan for it, so you can kind of see there's, right when you walk in, front office, game room area, lounge, bathrooms, open space area, nice back patio. We really take pride in these parks. As you can see, as I mentioned, we manage them and we try to keep them at the same level as the day they were built. And we put a lot of effort into doing that. And that's it.
Anything else, Council? You said, are these long-term or short-term?
We kind of are letting the market dictate it depending on where the demand is. The longest lease we do is, or it's not really a lease, it's month to month.
Mm-hmm.
So someone can book 30 days and then renew on a 30-day basis. But it's kind of based on how many. We prefer short-term in some areas. We prefer to have some stalls as short-term, but we kind of let the market dictate what those will be. But this would be a mix of both month to month and nightlies.
Mayor. Councilman Brennan.
I always struggle with my questions, sorry. Are you guys the current legal owners, or are you doing this through a purchase agreement?
Currently, we have the land under contract as part of a purchase agreement.
Contingent upon our approval?
No.
Not at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see some good stuff here, a potential buffer between this and who knows what the future holds nearby. And I guess your tenants will provide a lot of economic opportunity, or a lot of business opportunity, I guess, going to the local businesses in the area. I was hoping that that area continues to fill up with maybe smaller businesses for our city, but I don't see any problem.
Great, thank you, Councilman.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
So I was reading on the decision and recommendation, there was some traffic questions. I guess I just need to kind of wrap my mind around. So it's City View Drive in between. It's really hard to see. Okay, so by Dutch Brothers and, okay, Taco Bell.
So the applicant is going to be responsible for the extension of the roadway to their project. And then it kind of stops off right here, and what may happen here, may what happened here.
Right, right.
We have made sure that the applicant has received a approval from ITD about them being there, whether or not they would need to make any significant improvements. In the piece of correspondence, which was in the staff report, ITD said that they didn't foresee any improvements being needed for the type of use that he has.
So is it going to continue to be the right-hand turn out?
Right here. So right here, yes. Though they will exit the development and make a right turn. But there's no...
Onto American Legion.
You can go both directions out currently.
They can, yeah.
Yes, Councilman Brand, the piece of correspondence is actually in the packet that I provided you. They said that no material improvement will be needed based on this development. Now, that's not to say if more things are to come, something's going to happen. We are on that threshold. However, they did identify that this is not going to be the project that tips it as far as their scales. This is why we have a impact fee when it comes to our streets.
And we will be able to utilize those fees for those projects in our capital improvement plan, which I believe we do have that light identified in our plan, so that when the time comes, we can use those monies in an equitable manner where the applicant isn't, he truly is paying for the impact of his development and other associated streets impact fees we have in that area, so we can make those improvements when that time comes where ITD is like, no, now is the time for improvements to our roadway.
Man,
Councilman Brennan?
Brock, on that topic, can we breach the bigger conversation of that intersection with where we're working at already with Walmart and essentially forcing them to close part of their access and redesigning it to square up with City View Drive? And you talk about impact fees, but I think I always get the word wrong, but the latecomers agreement for sharing the cost.
Latecomers agreement, proportionate share.
Yes.
Those are things we can look into, but we need to be careful because we can't double dip. So we have an impact fee established. So let's take, if this body approves this project, if I'm collecting impact fees from him, I cannot make him go into a proportionate share agreement for additional infrastructure right there. So proportionate share is a good idea, but you need to look at projects which would benefit more from proportionate share, which are parts of town which are already built out, where we are sure that, you know, we're not going to get impact fees from Walmart. That time has passed. We're not going to get impact fees for some of that commercial development there, where we could maybe do a proportionate share for them and approach them to be part of a greater solution.
Who's them? Walmart?
Walmart and other, I'm trying not to pick on a single entity.
Okay.
Other commercial users there, but what we can't do is double dip and say, hey, RV park, you're going to pay your impact fee for this specific project, and I'm going to put you in a proportionate share.
I understand that.
But what we could do is, there is the opportunity for the city to help maybe facilitate the conversation from businesses. No one wants to be the person who's going to fit all of the money for it, to gauge their interest, if they would be willing to engage in some sort of proportionate share for that light. Or we do have studies there. We do know that Walmart is probably the most significant generator of trips. There's 9 ways to definitely skin the cat of how do we get the proper infrastructure there equitably and not putting the full burden on a single user.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've had enough time to like really research that, because that intersection needs to be done right for us. It's going to be major. So if they go with an impact fee, have you even remotely calculated what the impact fee will be for the full development of this plan?
As of yet, no. There hasn't been any preliminary calculations. I would assume that it's going to be calculated in the exact same manner that we calculated the previous RV park, which was there. I would believe it's going to be somewhat substantial.
I would venture to say, and Paul, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, but that impact fee would probably be more than enough to put a signalized intersection there. Maybe not, cutting Walmart out and doing their stuff, but I think we're on the precipice of forcing Walmart to take action. Like, we've been going down that road for years, and maybe we haven't made as much progress as we want. But if they're paying incredible amounts of impact fees, and Walmart says, I'm not coming to the table, I'm not helping destroy our parking lot and make a new entrance, then in reality, is the entire burden going to be upon this development here for Blue Terra, or any other small business that comes in there? What's the right answer?
Go ahead, Rich.
Mayor, Council, I think the biggest piece with that section is if Walmart wants to get rid of the median, that's where it's going to have to go. So until it really starts cutting into whatever they're doing with the right in and right out, because that's what they have right there, then that's You know, ITD, they've already appealed to ITD to put the light down at the bottom of theirs, and ITD told them no. And so, the access corridor study that they did, that's where the light was gonna go, and so they know that if anything's gonna be done there, that's where the light goes.
Can we waive the street portion of the impact fee? Keep the impact fee, waive that portion, and then do a latecomers agreement? I'm sorry, I always forget that word.
So you're thinking in the right direction. Like, yeah, technically we could do that and utilize those tools. I don't know if that would necessarily be the cleanest. Because, so let's say, hypothetically, that with this development, and it would be really cool, and I don't know what the numbers are, but let's say we did get those numbers, and it's like, we have enough to put in a light, and then some. The impact fee, based on the capital improvement plan, is across many different projects. So whatever is left over can go somewhere else. And then, as I mentioned, we have ICCU who just submitted their building permit. Desert Sage is paying impact fees. The car wash is paying impact fees. Mountain Bound is paying impact fees. All of those users utilize that. I think one thing that we could do for this body is, Paula reminded me that we are in the budgeting process, and that we can look at, with all of the big commercial building permits we are getting here, is that something we want to work into our model that, hey, we are going to put a light in, we're confident that we're going to be collecting these monies that can help pay for this light, and coordinate with ITD to make that project for a light there come to fruition sooner rather than later. I think that's something that's doable.
I don't understand the approach on how you get there. How you get to the point of ITD approval.
So if, Councilman Brennan, if it's the light there, if you feel that, hey, this is at the precipice, this needs to be done now, right now we are in the budgeting process, and we can identify large commercial projects which uphold building permits, which will be paying impact fees. During our budgeting process that's happening right now, we could potentially plan to put a light there.
So you're saying we can use soon to be collected impact fee money and identify a specific project for that. Is that?
Yeah, so we've already have looked at it. It's already in our CIP,
right?
But we can schedule it for sooner rather than later right now in this budget cycle, and start working with ITD right now and say, hey, we have these commercial entities, they're paying these impact fees, we believe we have the monies. This is an improvement we would like to make sooner rather than later.
ITD's budget's every 5 years, right? And so we would want to coordinate with them. There's a traffic circle that they'd rather have too. ITD would rather have a traffic circle up there, but they're definitely going to make Walmart come to the table if they're going to make them do that bottom, take that one out. So, and as Rich said, ITD did tell Walmart, no, you will put it at City View Drive. So, start configuring. There, Councilman Brennan.
And just to throw in my answer to it, the answer is no. When you have an impact fee, you can't waive the impact fee and then do a proportionate share agreement on it, because the impact fees are not calculated just for one particular development for the one head traffic light in front of it. It goes into this giant pool, and that number is calculated to cover your CIP as a whole. And so you can't opt in or out on different applications when you choose in order to enhance one part of town over the other. So in how you calculate impact fees, that would be a no.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey.
Legal, correct me if I'm wrong. So also, we can put this in our CIP, however, if we're planning on getting this money, we can't necessarily pinpoint an exact time because we can't spend impact fee money without having it.
Precisely.
So it's kind of hard because we have all these things that are coming, but until that money's been paid and it's sitting in our account, we can't really, it's really hard to predict which one's going to happen sooner than later.
Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman Garvey, you're absolutely correct. However, we can make a very calculated judgment, and I wouldn't bring this up if we hadn't had building permits already submitted.
And I think it's a good idea that we
So
move it
being that we have
sooner.
building permits already submitted, I feel comfortable budgeting with more likely than not, they will pick up the building permit. That is the hope, but I think it puts us in a place where we can
safely begin budgeting and strategizing using
Yeah,
those
I agree.
monies.
Yeah, something needs to be done up there.
Mayor, council, I mean, that's certainly, obviously we gotta look at engineering first, so that would be, engineering in this next budget, and then hopefully we get enough of it to be able to do construction in the next budget, so.
Councilman McCain?
I agree with the impact fees that we're be getting off of this with Desert Sage and with the car wash. That would be a considerable amount to be putting on this area.
So, Councilman Brennan?
Is there, well, I know I talk about Walmart a lot just because I know that's been the backbone to our conversations in this area for a long time. But and to all the experts in the room, including Carl back there, is there any way to truly force Walmart to act at the same time in which the city wants to act? We put in our thing and say, now or never, we just go and make a T intersection rather than a four-way? What is there anything that forces their hand?
ICD, not us.
Only ITE.
Yeah, the development bus is already left for our station. So if ITD wants to coordinate an area and Walmart's going to be getting something out of it, i.e. getting rid of this median, that's when they can bring them to the table, but we can't force it.
Okay. So, I'm okay with it. Go ahead.
So you can. So when the road level reaches an F, and because the roads are all scaled A through F, if the intersection starts scheduling into an F, which is a failure, ITD can force their hand. They can either force islandization or an intersection without their consent.
Okay.
They can shut their entrances down.
Just shut them down. And which effectively closes their business.
They can't close your business, but they can make it very difficult.
I see.
Islandization, like Eagle Road, that's how we did it. We just started islandizing, and it forces you to come to the table.
Okay.
I think.
And I think your score is like a D right now, right there. You have to ask the TIS people if they're.
All right, so we're gonna get back on point here, guys. So, sorry about that. What do you guys wanna do with item number 3?
I filed it.
Mayor,
Councilman Green.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve Planning and Zoning's Commission recommendation and finding of facts with conditions for a conditional use permit to allow the RV park.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Man, I just got part of this information. Like I said at the beginning of my statements, I don't feel like I've had enough time to really digest it, and I want to make sure we get it right. I don't have anything against the park. I just want to make sure we get it right. So, feeling like I don't have enough time, I'm just going to abstain from the vote today.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
All right. Did you not get them? You didn't get this?
I don't ever remember seeing this in the information that I had. Did you guys? Okay. Yeah, I missed it.
Tiff's holding out information on you. I'm kidding.
Tiff's like, no.
They come from the planning and zoning.
I'm kidding. All right, we'll run down to action item number 4, deliberation decision on public institution and education solution proposal for gaming study of infrastructure cost model by CBRE. Brock, go ahead.
All right. City Council, Mr. Mayor, with the Shoshone-Bannock Tribes Economic Development Project, the mayor, Marty Anderson have been in conversations of if that ever was to come to fruition, how would we best prepare our decision makers to make the best decision possible? I think it's important to know, and it's been stated by Mayor Sykes correctly many times, that this body doesn't make the decision. Ultimately, it rests upon the governor and on the Bureau of Indian Affairs. However, we do know that the governor will likely take into consideration the city's attitudes and desires towards that project if it comes to fruition or not. So we have begun to reach out to industry experts who have a knowledge that just surpasses what staff does internally for these types of projects happening in a community such as ours. One connection we have made is with CBRE. We have Zach Simons here today who's representing them, and they have provided a proposal with the intent on providing the city the very best information possible in order to make future decisions and to act rather than to be acted upon. This could be seen as preliminary or certainly early, but city staff, we just wanted to engage potential partners because we wanted to make sure that the city is able to make decisions with good information early on if this body sees fit to secure services from a consulting party. I want to note that the proposal that has been submitted is fairly hefty. CBRE is world-renowned and offers very credible services, and those services do come with a price. However, they do make mention within their proposal that they have it broken down into two parts. One part is the gaming study consulting fee, which is really based on the gaming and what does the gaming component mean, and I'll let you ask Zach about questions pertaining specifically to that. But the second part is really about what does this mean for city infrastructure. We do know that the tribe has, both in person to us and at public meetings, they've mentioned with their intent that they hope to partner with the city for centralized services. And what we need to know as a city is how do we engage in those discussions in a way that is fair for us, and making sure that the citizens and residents of Mountain Home aren't subsidizing by any means, and that the tribe is coming as a true community partner and not simply trying to do what's best by them and trying to find that win-win scenario. So that is my very short summary of what is before you today, and like I mentioned before, we have Zach Simons here who is here to answer your questions and to definitely get engaged in this discussion.
All right, council. A lot of info thrown at you with this one. I'm not a subject matter expert in gaming by any means. I'm not, from the last meeting that we had with the tribe, they said that whether the governor gave them their gaming compact or not, they're still coming. They still want to bring the convention center, the bowling alley, the movie theater. I don't know what to ask for. Is it 10% gross profit, 5% net? What do I charge them for is it something for the fire department, police department? I'm not a subject matter expert in it, so that's why we partnered with, we haven't partnered with anybody, but we asked CBRE, since they are experts in this field, to say, hey, what would a true, unbiased, not the show band's information, have our own study done. So that's why we brought this forward, to see what your guys' thoughts are, what your approach is, or what you think, or don't do it, do it. Just throwing it at get your guys' thoughts.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan.
Brock, what was the nature of your initial meetings with this company?
Initial interactions was, obviously, we're in the news everywhere for this potential project. We've worked with CBRE before on some other things, and they informed us, hey, just so you guys know, we do have a gaming division that works with tribes and small towns and governments all throughout the country, that there's resources there that could be there. And then
Did you meet in person with them, or like a Zoom thing?
Yeah, it was like a Zoom meeting. So they're doing other projects here in Mountain Home. So, and then we told the mayor, hey, they have these abilities. Is this something we should ask them more about? And then we did, and the mayor's like, anyone can give us a proposal for anything and sorts of services that are available, and those were kind of the discussions that have happened.
The information you're providing, I'm not seeing in the packet here where it talks about the team members' experience as far as gaming. Nowhere in there does it say that they have a gaming division. I was concerned that what the experience is in being able to provide like some kind of like financial impact statement in terms of.
Zach, you want to come down? Sorry.
Council. On behalf of CBRE, I'd like to, get up here.
I'd like to thank you guys for having us here today. We do have insight of CBRE. First off, just a little on CBRE. We're the largest brokerage firm in the entire world. We have several entities, one of which is Union Gaming. It was a Las Vegas-based gaming group that we had bought and acquired. Several industry leaders are in that group. We've been also working with public institutions and educational services. They're out of San Diego and part of CBRE. Strong background in these kind of conversations and these kind of deals that have went on with municipalities and tribal affairs. Our goal is to bring the statistical and analytical data and give it to the decision makers of communities where they can make the best decisions possible for that community. Selfishly, as a member of this community, I wanted not just the pros but the cons of this to be overturned every leaf. It's going to affect our businesses, the future of our kids. It's a big decision. Ultimately, I think it's the biggest decision that Mountain Home's ever going to make. Whether it's voted in yes or no, with where I work, I felt it was a good opportunity to talk with Brock and present the opportunity there, as we are world renowned and have some horsepower behind us as far as this kind of talk. So.
Are you saying you're a resident of Mountain Home?
I am a resident of Mountain Home, yes.
Okay. Anybody else can go if they want for a second.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey.
Okay. I don't know if they're necessarily questions for Zach, but just questions in general. So I feel like, personally, that this gaming study is, I think we're putting the cart in front of the horse just a little bit, because, correct me if I'm wrong, it's still at the Bureau of or the Indian Affairs at DC level, correct?
I'm going to assume so.
I mean, anybody?
Correct.
So, okay.
So.
So it may not even make it past DC, and then once it makes it past DC, the Paiute tribe and the Bannock tribe have to sort out their arguments and decisions with the governor. So, and also, we don't even know, it sounds to me that the governor's had a little bit of apprehension on approving this because it's going to set a precedence in the state of Idaho. I think this is a good partnership to start, but I think for $77,000, we're getting a little bit ahead of the game. Further, I have some other notes I wrote down here. I feel like you mentioned the profits of the gaming, and as a city, what are we going to ask, 5%, 10%? I think that's also putting the cart in front of the horse. I think they did give us, and not us, but you guys, their numbers. So we have that amount. But the gaming study tasks that are going to be studied in here are really beneficial to the tribe and not the city. The labor force profile, I mean, that's most important to the casino. Obviously, the economic impact of our community is something that we haven't even begun to unravel that yet. The economic base per county business partners, that's just a national way to break down what our community is doing. Again, this study benefits the tribe, and they should probably be paying for this, not us. And if they're wanting to come to the table with providing us this information, then I think they should be a partner in paying for this. Couple other things, the select real estate data. Their real estate's picked out. They know where they're going. Let's see. Obviously, I'm always going to ask this question. Where's the money coming from, and how are we paying for it? Paula?
So it's Councilwoman Garvey, it'd be budgeted in your administration under professional fees.
For next year?
Depending on what the council decides. So.
What do we have this year?
I can tell you what we have left. In professional services, you have just around $10,000 left in that line.
Okay. Okay, well, that answers that question. The other thing, and I'll just speak to the infrastructure part of this study. A lot of these items, I believe, have already been presented to us in a pretty well thought out, well informed way by the tribe. They've already confirmed with the utility agencies operating in this region. I think there's just a lot of redundant information that I don't think we're quite ready for. Maybe if we could make this actually towards gaming and how it will impact our community, I'd be more for it, but right now, I just don't see where we need this yet.
Councilman McCain?
I'll have to agree with Councilman Garvey. I think it's a little putting the cart in front of the horse for this right now, especially when we only have $10,000 in that line item right now.
Okay. Councilman Brennan?
I like one thing he said, I mean, amongst other things,
Yes,
is that,
sorry.
you said, I'm using different words, but I think we mean the same thing, is that you said it's our biggest decision, and I've said up here like countless times, is I believe this has the real chance of changing the identity of our community. And I've said up here time and time again that I will not support it until we hear from the majority of our citizens to say, we want you to support it as a council, or we don't want you to. That's going to be my stance all the way through this. So I think you probably we're agreeing with each other for the most part that it's a big impact
Yes,
on
Councilman
Mountain Home.
Brennan, I appreciate you saying that. The biggest thing I wanted to touch on as a member of the community is what we're presenting here is a proactive approach and not a reactive response to something that is the biggest decision in our community. Infrastructure, we're dealing with the RV groups and development that are coming in. They're not coming in for the food. They're setting their stakes down on this property for one reason only. As the leader of Land Services Group for CBRE in Southern Boise, I'm firmly aware and understand these developments and what they're doing. They're preparing for the casino. As a member of the community, and we've seen this, being small in nature and lacking the resources, sometimes the information, we do it the best with what we got. This is a big decision. It will change our community. It will change our kids. And I don't think it's something that should be taken lightly and pushed off, because big business, is here. You look at, these are large-scale developments reaching $100 million, and they're here to do something in Mountain Home, and a proactive response is what CBRE is trying to do here in coordination with the city and for the best interest of the city in any negotiation or discussion.
There's something else that was said that I'll agree with, is the mayor made a comment that I think it's important to get maybe the same information but from two sources, so that we know we're not being fed a line of bogus information. Right? The tribe can come to us with a whole lot of information, but I would agree that at some point I want to trust but verify, do our own research. And as far as talking, a cut of profits or anything, I would never ever want to ask some form sovereign nation to give us their books to say, hey, give us 5%. Like, I don't think that's ever going to work. Well, regardless of how their books work, I don't think that's the best interest of Mountain Homes, asking for a cut of a profit rather than we just charge something.
Correct. And to touch on Councilman Garvey's response too, as far as the tribal needing to pay for some of these costs, as far as the study goes, we are going to go into that and analyze that and be a representative of the city to bring that conversation together for the best fit for the city of Mountain Home, and we're representing the city of Mountain Home in those negotiations. We do agree with that. They're coming to Mountain Home, which is our city, and conducting business. So we are trying to formulate a unit in some capacity and create a constructive decision process there.
As far as the information that you're providing us, like it sounds like it's mostly economics derived, right? Like how's it going to benefit us? How much money are the surrounding businesses going to take in? That's kind of the vast majority of what you're proposing, right?
Correct, and that is, we want to go inside and pull back the hood a little bit, and we see what's being said in the papers, as far as what's going to be coming back to the community. We're facts driven. We want to see those facts, and the experience that we have backing it, they're going to be able to uncover those facts and see exactly the hard numbers and what the city's going to benefit, what they're going to gain, and what they're going to lose, most importantly. That's the biggest thing that we have to look at there, is what the community's going to lose.
I'd like to talk about the lose part real quick. As far as your proposal and your business experience, not just yours, the whole team, right?
Correct.
Aside from economics, are they going to be able to show us how much drugs are going to be brought into the community?
So there will be a social engineering study and a light touch on that to be able to see the impact of that. They have done this with several light communities, and they do have the information on those that they can draw from, and they will be bringing that and those studies to the table, correct?
But is there I don't know what I'm trying to say. You bring a study, and then is there information after the fact that says the information we provided to this city turned out to be 90% true 10 years later, or something to that effect?
Well, correct. I think that's an impact study that you approach as it goes by, and you track that data.
Do you have those? Do you have the 10-year past
we do,
data?
Yes, we do have
20
access
years?
to that. Yes, correct.
So aside from drugs, the other crime that it may bring, which is
bankruptcy, prostitution.
Yeah, prostitution, bankruptcy, theft.
Correct.
All that stuff. Home foreclosure rates.
Correct.
You have it already?
We have the data in-house that can be prepared, and that will be a part of this study. I don't want to speak out of turn for our Public Institution Educational Services group, but a large amount of this will be focused on that and deriving that information from us.
Okay. And following up on the other two council members' comments is we do have to work. I don't think we have to work with the governor, but it is in our best interest to advise him what our community wants. I kind of go full circle here and say, like, I don't know what our community wants, and I'd like to find out. But after finding out what our community wants, if it's in the positive to say we want the casino, gaming, the whole bundle here, then that's when I think this study is done, and we reach out to the governor and say, please approve or disapprove as a city. That's, I guess, my 25 cents.
Mayor.
So, Councilwoman Garvey.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it sounds like we're not, we wanna wait till.
Well, I was just gonna, I do agree 100% what you're saying. Absolutely, we need this information. This is definitely information, but that's why I lead to, this is a good partnership to open up, but for budgeting purposes, there's nothing we can do tonight. We don't have the money. I also would like a little bit more in-depth, because from what I read here, everything you said is not in here.
Okay.
Agreed.
So I would like to see a more comprehensive plan put together of what you are actually going to provide us. Because, I mean, it's a lot of money, and we're not just saying it's just a couple $1,000s, but this is information that you could bring us, and it is a great second party communication for just the city.
Correct, and that, Councilman Garvey, that was, a barrier to entry kind of thing, just show you our capabilities, what we're able to do, and I will circle back with our group and bring that back. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I think, number 4, we'll just table it.
Yeah, I make a motion that we table the deliberation decision on establishing a date and time for, oh, nope, sorry. deliberation decision on the public institution and education solution proposal for the gaming study and infrastructure cost model by CBRE.
Councilman Brennan.
May I ask, do you have a date in mind or just indefinite tabling?
Well, I can't say a date. I'll just add to that. I also really would like a little bit more information from our state, our state level. What does the governor, what are his thoughts? I just think before we start putting a lot of our own taxpayers' dollars, which we're going to have to do a lot of research, but just more information. I mean, we haven't heard anything about the casino in months. And then all of a sudden here we are with, a very large study that is probably needed, but, so I can't answer that question. I'm hopefully coming soon.
I would imagine maybe we could do an update at the next city council meeting. Councilman Garvey, you brought very good points that this data set already exists. The tribe does have it. The city does not have access to the complete study. Maybe that's part of the first ask. And I think that's some stuff that we can discuss with CBRE because it's one thing to obtain it. It's an entirely different thing to be able to truly understand it and the holes that are there. And I'm a smart guy, and I believe the legal counsel that we have for this specific project is a smart guy, but someone who can look through it with a lens of economics and community development could be extremely valuable. So I think we could table it until a next city council meeting and come with a more refined approach that meets both our budget but also realizes where we are in this process.
So we've got a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
There's been a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman McCain? Aye. Councilman Brennan?
I with the caveat that we need a lot more information, and the next meeting I'm not going to be ready for that.
Councilwoman?
It doesn't have to be decision item.
Hi. And I want to say thank you, Jack. Yeah, that was, your information is invaluable to us as a city, so thank you.
All right, action item number 5. Deliberation decision on establishing a date and time for a council work session, discuss Brandon McCarthy's proposal for a closed bid process to allow for vendor use in Legacy Park. Council, when do you want to do that?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan.
In talking with Tiffany, if it's okay, I would like to just ask really quick, if there's a direction we want to go with an overall umbrella before we know exactly what the conversation's going to be. Whether it's, I think his request was one essentially contract for the entire year, or maybe in my mind or somebody else's is it's a simultaneous special event permit for 1 day. If Darcy has the whole park taken up for soccer on Saturday, then that Saturday one special event for food vending can also occur. So he talked about bringing in money for the like a master parks plan, and my only thought on that was that if we're going to let somebody bid out like an extended period of time, like a year, I never remember the word, but like on an auction you'd have a silent no less than number to help pay for the costs incurred to the city, so that maybe we only get 3 bids and the highest one is $75 for a year thing. That's going to do us no good at all. So I'm more on lines of a daily or maybe a one sport activity. The 4 or 5 week soccer program, this special event gets to do food for that. I just think that's important before we go moving and setting a date and a time.
I know, Mayor.
Councilman Green?
I think it's also pertinent that with Darcy leaving, we have a new parks, or a new rec director in place before we proceed.
Mayor, Council.
Tiff, Sergeant Brennan.
I have just a couple of things to throw at you guys, in a couple ordinances here that you guys worked pretty tirelessly on getting correct. So 411.4 general regulations, which specifically talks about mobile food concession. It says mobile food concessions are prohibited within residential districts unless associated with approved special events or food concession operations. So Legacy Park is zoned residential. So you would have to have a special event, which then is what we talked about, the rec department would hold and could then use a vendor to solicit it, okay? Then it goes on to further, mobile food concessions are prohibited in all parks unless they're in the designated areas located at Railroad Park and El Rancho. So again, you can do it in the designated area of those two parks. So I just want to throw those things out. Again, I briefly talked last time, we would have to pay the garbage, our staff time. We'd pay the paper to put it out to public notice. That's staff time. And we always, you all know, it has to be at what the dollars are. So that bid is going to be our city costs, which will be very minuscule. So to me, the master plan for the park should have been done in 1997 when the park was first starting to be constructed, not potentially now. But a bathroom's a great idea. I feel like I'm a really negative Nancy on it. Sorry.
Councilor Brennan.
As far as Councilman Green's comment, I kind of disagree because that could delay this like a really long time. If we hire somebody from outside and they have no idea what they're getting into, that's not going to be the first thing that they tackle. And Tiffany came from Parks before Darcy as the superintendent over there. And I think we can trust her experience and expertise. And we still got Darcy for a while to help get it right on her way out. So I'd be ready to proceed with some type of action.
Mayor, Council, it's a very good idea, and I thank Carl and Brendan for their time. But the operations of recreation, it's 5 weeks of soccer, it's packed down there. And that's really enticing, but we've tried it. Darcy could tell you, I can tell you, we've tried to get vendors to go down there and sell. They don't want to. They don't want to leave their locations. But Councilman Brennan brought up a great point. If Mountain Home Police Association wants to go fundraise and sell hot dogs or girls cheerleading, by all means, go do that. We're all for that. I don't think anyone would ever tell them no. But to put it out to bid, do a secured envelope, it's a lot of overhead work for staff, and I don't know what the benefit or outcome would be.
So the ordinance says that you can't have that there in a residential park, right?
Unless you have a special event
Okay,
application.
so they'd have to do their own special event. Okay.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
the only thing that concerns me is it's just more garbage. It's food, it's trash, it's waste. So before we proceed, what I would like to see is kind of an actual idea of how much time it's going to cost for garbage services, for cleanup, for employees. Excuse me. Maybe just a little bit more information. Again, back to that whole information thing. Sorry, I keep asking for it, but.
Okay. Go ahead.
Councilwoman Garvey, we can provide that. We, when I was fortunate to be over in recreation, Miguel and I put a lot of work into the numbers of Railroad Park when we had very high usage of mobile food concession in there, and so we can definitely share that information.
Councilman Brennan?
I thought about the garbage thing too, and ultimately I realized that the vendor is responsible for providing trash services, but parks in general, Legacy Park specifically, is a giant park, and people are going to carry their food and their napkin or their cup all across the park, and people litter, and I'll do my best to catch them, but I don't think we can truly control that, but I also don't want to hide from taking a good action because of the potential for trash that could be dumped by the buyer and not by the vendor, right? And we talked about trash with vendors in Railroad Park where they wanted to leave their cardboard boxes and stuff like that. That absolutely is I think, easily enforceable issue, but somebody dumping their hot dog wrapper, that really can't be controlled. I would like to continue with the meeting to discuss how we can move forward, but if a special event permit, is there anything in the ordinance now? Because right now, it's perfectly acceptable by what you've given us, but is there something that says you can't have two special events for the same area at the same time? I think that's the underlying question.
No, Mayor.
I was gonna say, they're just located in the gazebos, but the whole field is fine, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff. So.
No, you're good. Typically, right now, to have a special event application go through, in a park, you have a park reservation. So you reserve the park for that set area, so that designated spot. And then we'll come along now, the tough question is I bought it, I reserved the park, I'm now vending the food out of it, and here comes the mobile ice cream truck. Well, why are they now in my area and selling at my time? So a lot of those kind of come up. If you're gonna go double allowing for multiple venues being there, you kind of have a little bit. But it's things we can explore. The ordinance that I read earlier, it does address trash for the customer. We do provide, on the city side, we're gonna provide trash totes. And we understand that we're gonna provide them for, yes, said customer. However, we're not providing large container, and you have to, as your business, haul all of your waste away. So that, we did address that when you guys did the ordinance the first time.
So it's just to the city's discretion to do a dual reservation at the same time?
Yeah.
Between you and Darcy, have we ever had an application for that yet? Or have you denied anybody to say, Parks has the reservation, you can't be there?
Not on a food vendor. Like, we've denied Ultimate Frisbee to be there because youth soccer's taking advantage. Like, we've done that, but not because of, say, a food vendor.
I'd like to continue with just a short work group to move forward. I'd like having the opportunity to let a 10-year-old soccer player get a hot dog while they're out there at the same time. So whatever we have to do to make that happen.
So council, when do you want to have that?
So are we just looking at setting a date?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we just send a group email, because we also now have a new council person coming on, and can we just do that after the meeting?
Yeah, Mayor, I think that is perfectly fine. To me, I wanted myself, Darcy, and Miguel to understand the direction council wanted us to go with Mr. McCarthy's proposal, so that we can give you guys the data you need to make a decision. And also, I don't have Mr. McCarthy's proposal. He gave it to you all last meeting, and I did not get a copy of that. So then I was kind of in the dark, honestly, so that's where I'd like to go. So I'm okay if we go into May. Soccer's over, so we can pick the last meeting in May. If you guys don't know.
So council, what do you guys want to do?
Mayor, when do our Tuesday meetings start again?
The last
May,
council.
the last.
May 23rd.
The last one of May?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you want to work it then?
I'm okay with our very next meeting.
Into the next meeting?
Right beforehand.
So before, so like at 5?
Ooh. I won't be here,
5:30?
but you guys can be here.
No, we can wait, I guess, if you're not gonna be here.
I'll be coming home from Jackson Hole.
I won't be here at the final meeting in May.
No, he's thinking the next meeting.
I just don't
Okay.
think we'll be here then.
I'm good with the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Next meeting, 5 o'clock, right? Is it 5? 5:30? Oh, you won't be here, all right?
It's all right.
You sure?
No, please, you guys, yes, it's fine.
Okay. Not good?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We'll run down to recognizing persons in the audience. Would anybody like to get up and speak for 3 minutes? Come on down, Carl. Didn't recognize you with all the hair.
Better than the alternative. Doesn't it, Mr. McCain?
I have no problem, easy to take care of. Carl Vaughn, 1384 North 9th Street. So that proposal that was given to you was actually presented to the Parks Department March 10th of 22. So this, you can see this has been kicked down the road or whatever and put off the thing, but it's over a year. So this proposal was put together over a year ago. And now I don't know, the council member that wants to put it off again for another, because you're changing over in the Parks Department, that makes no sense. That's another year. So that, you know, it just keeps getting kicked down the road. And going back to the comprehensive plan should be done in 1997, she is correct, but you can always fix that now, and whatever proceeds you get, you need a plan at that park. You know, I've lived there for 30 years, and you know, it was a gravel pit when I moved here, and it's changed in that, and now everybody's just trying to do their own little thing in it. You have no long-term plan with that park. The downtown project was a perfect way that you guys did it. Phase one, everybody knew in the community what phase was happening, what time it was going to go on. They don't know what's going on in this park. In the future, we don't know. You see something going on, and you're like, yeah, what's going on there? Well, no one knew about it. If you have a plan or a comprehensive long-term plan, you can see what that park's going to look like in the long term. Might not be 5 years, might be 15 years up, but you have some sort of plan. Because bathrooms are important down there. You're paying JDB3, J Services for those porta potties, but people understand that the park is below the sewer levels. You know, that wherever you put the bathrooms, it can't be next to ponds. It's going to have to be up high. So you got to have a long-term plan to figure out where you're going to put all the plumbing, where all the electric is going to go, if you're going to need a lift station, where the water is going to come from, and have a professional engineer design this instead of in-house. You know, I think it'll work. What do you think? You know, that's what happens all the time. And a lot of things that you're doing doesn't bring income in. This, I'm not saying she's wrong or right. We don't know what it's going to bring in. But if you've been out there in the last 5 Saturdays or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, like tonight, the park's packed. You know, it's packed again tonight because there's soccer practice going on because it got rained out the last time. So, I don't know. You know, I don't know what the solution is. We just got to try something. You know, I'd rather try and fail than just keep kicking that down the road. So, and let it their responsibility. Let the contractor or the food court decide that. She's right. Anybody can come on there and do a fundraiser, but that doesn't generate money. You know, let the contractors bid and say, hey, you know, I'm willing to pay $150 a month, $200, whatever, you know, to be there for those 6 weeks. Unless you're taking some of the fundraiser money, say, hey, we get 20%. You know, like casino money. You know, so you know, gambling with a hot dog. Right. So I don't know. That's just me. I just think we just, instead of kicking that can down the road again, just try to come up with a plan, any plan. Then say, hey, we'll address it again later. So that's just me.
Thank you, Carl.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else? All right, we're going to run down to the resignation.
Mayor.
Oh, Councilman.
Before you continue, I want to ask legal a question, which I know the answer to, but I'm going to ask him anyway. If I resign first, I cannot vote, correct?
If you resign, you can't vote.
Then I recommend we leave it, I want to leave it in the order it is then, because I was elected by the people, and I think I should have the right to vote on who will be continuing my term.
Is there an issue with having 5 councilmen?
Well, he's not a councilman because he's not sworn in.
He's not sworn in.
Oh, yeah.
He's not sworn in.
Yeah, he's not sworn in
So
yet.
actually, it's nice. So yes.
Okay. So then, do I hear a motion to
I'll do it.
Okay, sorry.
I'll start it, I'll finish it. If that's the case, then I'll make a motion to go back to the agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion?
Sorry, I didn't think about it at the time, but it's like, no, I want to vote on it.
Yes. Hearing none.
Since September, you should abstain.
Just a comment. I think this is the same issue we had with the last appointment. So I think going back to the original would be the best way to do it.
Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for, or sorry, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
All right. So, we'll do the consent by the city council to the appointment of Matthew Bundy as new city council member to fill the remaining term created by the resignation of Mike McCain. Councilman McCain, sorry.
Mayor,
Councilman McCain.
I'll make a recommendation to allow Matthew Bundy as the new city council member to fill the remaining term for the resignation of Councilman McCain.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Only who's Bunday?
Didn't I say Monday? Did I say Monday? Oh, excuse me, Matt.
Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman
Monday's
McCain.
on Monday. Do we have Blues Day on Tuesday?
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman McGarvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Well, I didn't get to put him on the hot seat like I do everybody else, but I think I've got enough experience with him. Aye.
Okay. All right, so then now we'll go down to the resignation from City Council, Mike McCain.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to state before I do leave that it's been a pleasure working with everybody up here, all of department heads. When I was even working with all the department heads as a department head, it was fantastic. I enjoyed trying to make a difference and help Mountain Home grow to where, but it's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Let me, give me your slide back in so you can through.
See you around, Trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for everything.
No problem, thank you. I'm not leaving nobody yet. You got me for a little bit longer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Sir?
Thank you.
Been a privilege. Well,
And my department is again. I'll be the last one here.
Okay. I'll let me do that first.
And then it goes downhill.
That is true.
As if you haven't done this before.
He's not getting his seat back though. Well, not earlier.
Good afternoon. I, Matthew Bundy,
I, Matthew Bundy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of counselor
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of counselor
of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, according to the best of my ability.
of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, according to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
Welcome to the team. We have this side of the house this time.
Hey, Mike left you a treat.
sorry, Matt.
So Mike, I've known you for quite a while, and I've got to be a piece and part of you're obviously the department head, and you always came with you know what I mean, in which you always knew where you stood, and which I loved about you, and like I said, you will be missed. I've missed you back there. I mean, Hank's doing a good job, but he's not Mike, right? And so
There's only one, they broke the mold.
right. But thank you for your service to the city for how many years as the building official, and then your service to the citizens of the city for
20 years now.
yeah. So thank you so much on behalf of me and the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Councilman Bundy, welcome back. You ready?
I'm ready. Just one really quick say, okay. When I was first asked to do this, it's like nobody can fill Mike's shoes. And I was reluctant to do it, and then the mayor kept talking to me over the course of the day, and I found out that there were some circumstances and the city was in a little bit of a bind. And so I've agreed to come in and help out for a few months, and it's an honor to be back in here to assist the community for a few months and to do what I can to help the council progress along the path that they're doing. And I reached out and told them that that's my role here for the next few months, is to support the current council and the current mayor and the current staff, so that we can proceed through this interim time. And I appreciate the confidence that's been put in me to come in and do this for a few months, and I'll do my best, and please reach out to me on anything we've got to do. But once again, Mike, it's been a pleasure working you as a councilman and as a member of the community. You're going to sorely be missed. You're not too far, but you did go outside the city boundaries. So, but I look forward to continuing to see you in the community. Thank you.
I'll be here, and you're the main reason why I ran and that got that position to where I appreciate you filling in for me.
Thank you.
Colette, thank you for allowing, we all know who really runs the show, so thank you for allowing him to step back into this world. I appreciate it, I really do, so thank you. All right, final comments. Anybody got anything good for the order? All right, hearing none, we'll adjourn the meeting. That was the easiest part, right?